Good afternoon. My name is Renee Boyd, and I'm the band director at Catalina Foothills High School in Tucson, Arizona. And what you're seeing today is a lesson with some of our students who will actually be traveling to Europe tomorrow with the Arizona ambassadors. And we'll be going to a variety of countries, and our director has programmed many pieces from a variety of countries as well. And we're going to talk a little bit about the culture and the characteristic style of some Irish pieces that we're going to play along with some dancers. So we did Lord of the Dance last night. What do you think? What do you think the audience thought about it? Did they like it? Why did they like it? I'm glad you all agree. Why did they all like it? What do you think they liked about it the most?
Super fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Why is it fun?
Dancers, jumpy.
Yeah, the
Upbeat.
dancers. It's jumpy, it's upbeat.
There's different styles.
The dancers, there's different styles, exactly. What I think is really important that you know about the Irish culture, and are any of you Irish?
Oh yeah, my grandfather's Irish.
Okay, good. I did not know that. And we talked earlier, and you said none of you have seen Lord of the Dance or Riverdance. You've never been to any of those shows? Well, they're shows kind of like Broadway musicals, and they make lots of money because people like to go see people do that. The music itself isn't completely characteristic of the Irish culture. You know what's the most characteristic thing we're doing? When you stand up at the beginning of Irish Party in third class and play without music, that's characteristic of Irish musicians and dancers. You will never see them play with music most of the time, right? You would never see that. And Elaine, that would be really good for you because you would have everything memorized very quickly and could do that. So I want to talk a little bit about the style so you have an understanding. This is really music of the heart for people in Ireland. This is very important to them. It's a really important part of their culture. You know, like in the United States in World War II, do you know what the popular type of music was then? Jazz. And a lot of people, even though the country was in turmoil, a lot of people got a lot of comfort and enjoyment out of jazz music. Dance music is like that for the Irish people. They've had a long history of conflict where people come and try to conquer their island. And I did a little research, and it was about 1300 when they have the first chronicled Irish dance around that people wrote about, or I don't think they did videotape at that point, but definitely there's record of it. So it's been there for a long time, and it's changed a lot, and it's part of their culture now. In schools there, they take dance class as a part of their PE class, and they have instructors who travel around from town to town, and today they're more stationary, but they used to travel around and have specific dances. So as somebody mentioned a couple minutes ago, the dances are different. Let's take a look at them just a second. Kayla, can you do yours? Just do a couple steps of yours. We're not going to put any music to it first, but just watch a little bit of what she's doing. Whenever you're ready. Okay, great, thank you. Anybody know what that is? What kind of dance that is? Any idea? So there are like 4 or 5 main dances that you learn when you're learning to dance, and that's called a slip jig, and that is the ballet of Irish dance. It's supposed to look very graceful. It's supposed to look very fluid. It's hardly ever done by boys. Little boys learn it because they have to learn the style, but then once they get to about 7 or 8, they don't dance it anymore. So it's supposed to look very beautiful, and it is. There are many different styles, and what Kayla's doing is kind of a showy style, like you'd see more in something like Lord of the Dance or Riverdance. It's usually a 9/8, and what's unusual about it is it emphasizes 5. Or if you're in 6/8 and you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they dance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a normal slip jig. But this one's a little different. Can we play at 22? Can we play at 22? And then we're going to have her dance with us in a minute. Ready? 22. 1, 2, 22, and. At all about it? You may not. I'd like you to play it very legato. Everything super legato. About the speed you just played it, but very legato. 1, 2, connect, and. More legato. Now I'd like you to go back and I'd like you to play it like you little more push on the beats. And this is a 12/8, right? So it's not a real slip beat, but be-ba-dee-da-la-dee-da-la-dum. Each group of notes put a little bit of emphasis and a little bit of energy in the beginning of it. Ready? 1, 2, 22, and. So Kayla, which one would be easier to dance to, the very legato way or the one with a little bit of push on the beat? What do you think?
I think a little bit of push would be better because I could keep more in time.
Okay, is there anything else you want us to do differently about it that would make it easier to dance to?
I think just really key into each other and make sure you keep a steady tempo. I know it's hard because you don't have percussion, but the steadier you are, the less likely I am to get off beat.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you. That's good. And her job out there is to make it really clear what she's doing. That's what makes it effective. Can you do it with us once at 22? Okay. So a little bit of push on each beat. That's what if I had the opportunity to tell the whole ensemble, that's what I tell them. Just give it a little. It has to be, he wanted the other piece to be playful. This one has to be lively. All right, ready? 22. 1, 2, with Kayla, please.
I think that just about covers it.
Okay, good. So thanks very much. That's a really important part of the dance of the Irish culture. You see that, and they love to see the often female dancers on that style. And then we have our second style. Does anybody know what the style is? Do a little bit of yours where you start. Cool. So if that's meant to represent the beautiful mist-filled bogs and fairies, that are real by the way, in Ireland, what do you think this is meant to represent, that style of dancing? Any idea?
Like a storm, maybe? It's very intense.
Okay, yeah, it's much more intense, exactly.
Kind of more like the war-like side of it.
Yeah, the war, almost like drums, right? Almost like a war drum. And I do think they have, I do think that there's a tie into the drums. I think it's called the boran and the feet. And often if you see one of these shows, you'll see a thing back and forth as one of the acts between drums and feet. It's actually kind of cool because they play rhythms and then they dance back.